Some time ago when we were at university, I was visiting Vicky at her student digs in Leeds, and our friend Sammy was due to arrive for the weekend as well. Full of confidence, Sammy knocked on the door, which was opened by one of the other students from Vicky's uni, and in a loud voice, Sammy asks, "Where's Joel?" He was excited to see me, obviously. And having not received an immediate response, Sammy pushes his way into the house, walks into the living room, and he sits down, continuing to ask, "Where's Joel? Where's Joel?" as he sits on the sofa in front of the telly. Now, as it turned out, Joel and Vicky as well, we were 2 or 3 doors down in Vicky's house. Sammy had let himself into the wrong set of student digs. I don't know if you've ever made a mistake like this, turning up at the wrong building, looking for someone in the wrong place. Too often I think we do this with churches. We take too much of our understanding about church from the Old Testament, from their understanding of the temple. You see, the temple, it was God's dwelling place among his people. We're told that when it was built, the presence of God came and rested upon it. And there, in the most holy place, you could come into the very near presence of Creator God. Well, you couldn't, just the high priest. He was there. And so it was important to go to temple from time to time because that's where God was. And sometimes we pick this up in our ideas about church. We think that church is where God is, that there's something special about that building. Non-Christians, I think, especially have this idea in the back of their brains. They speak in hushed voices when they're in a church. They try not to swear, as if worried that God might hear them there, as if he doesn't hear them when they're somewhere else. But as Christians, we don't believe that the building we worship in has any such special properties. It's not a holy place. It's a place for holy people to meet. Let me read to you from Ephesians 2. "Consequently," Paul writes, "you are no longer foreigners and strangers, but fellow citizens with God's people, and also members of his household, built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, with Christ Jesus himself as the chief cornerstone. In him the whole building is joined together and rises to become a holy temple in the Lord. And in him you too are being built together to become a dwelling in which God lives by his Spirit." This is really important for us to remember in our present circumstances. The presence of God in our world is not in our church buildings, in some holy of holies that people need to visit to draw close to him. The dwelling place of God in our world is in his people. We are the church, you and me. We are the temple of God. We are the place where the Creator is present in creation. You don't need to go to a church building to meet with God. You can do that right here, right there, where you are. And so even when we cannot use our buildings, he continues to build each one of us up through the power of his Spirit. Praise be to God.